Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more oxygen not included in the Super Duper Grouper base. Yes, I know it's been a little while since my last episode. I apologize, I was overseas, but now we are back. And I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea what I want to do. We've been trying to mess around with some cooling systems for our refined metals and other things like maybe getting some infinite quote-unquote water from a cool steam vent with the anti-entropy thermonullifier, and we've been spending way too much time looking at some of this. I know there's been some feedback for improvements. Temp shift plates come to mind. Should have done that, did not. One thing I did in between videos was just simply add a little gas valve over here since we had been having some issues where too much hydrogen was getting stored up in these systems and it was cooling down this chamber a bit more than I was willing to accept. Now we've got the flow regulated to 10 grams, so it's a lot easier to quickly shut off the cooling here if it looks like it's getting a bit too extreme. And on top of that, if we take a look over here at plumbing, you can see that we are cycling through some water bit by little bit from this vent over here, the steam vent, and we're cooling off water to then go drop off in the base. So that's all kind of working as intended. Just need to build up this one last little bit of pipe and we will be set. Something I really need to be doing, though, something I've been delaying for way too long, I have not explored, like, the vast majority of the map. And down to the bottom, in particular, there could be some really cool stuff that we could make use of. Volcanoes come to mind, or maybe an oil biome. I wouldn't mind starting to work with some petroleum. That could all be pretty cool. And up over here, I don't know, start working towards space or something? Maybe. We've also got additional cool steam vents that I could find a way to make use of. And there are some things we can do with this. For example, set up a steam turbine plus an aqua tuner and some of these cool steam vents to kind of generate a little bit of self-sustaining power, but also a heat dump for a lot of our base. And that could be kind of nice, actually, in conjunction with the hydrogen in our Dreco farm that's been getting a little bit too warm. I've been dumping literal ice cubes in here and letting them melt in order to kind of get the temperature under control, which is kind of stupid. It's just been working so far. I'd like to find a better long-term solution for this. In hindsight, I actually should have used the steam vent over here for that purpose. Huh. Well, I'm not very smart, but that's fine. So exploring, and then maybe setting up a way to tame this cool steam vent and put it to use. I suppose one other thing we could consider working on is maybe the transit tubes that we have been talking about a while ago. I mean, it would be really nice. We do need a lot more refined metal, but I can do that pretty effectively with my refineries nowadays. How much does it take to make a single transit tube? 50 kilograms of plastic. You know, I do have almost 4,000 that I'm sitting on right now. That is at least many sets of transit tubes I could make use of. How would I want to do that, though? Let me think about that for a second. Where would I want to go? See, this is where I need to have more exploration, because the transit tubes, while they'd be really cool to kind of get this base a little bit more efficient, it's still a bit of a waste as things stand right now. You can get around the main base easily. It's only getting down here that takes a bit of time, and even then, it's not that bad. I just complain a lot. If we did find ourselves need to go all the way down over here, though, now that is where you're going to need to have some transit tubes. So all the more reason to continue with my exploration. Let's find out what the heck else is over here. Oh, this is fun. A supply teleporter unit. Okay, so this is going to become extremely useful to me if I ever do go to another asteroid, and that is kind of the plan, maybe not for a little bit longer, but this is really useful to simply teleport liquids, solids, or gases over to an asteroid instantaneously. Gonna make my life a lot easier. Hello, what is all this? Aye, we found some uranium ore and ice. Cool, so if I ever do decide that I want to go for the nuclear powers, I know where to harvest some uranium. Let's go to research renewable energy right out over here. I just feel like this is going to end up being useful to me. Maybe not this exact second, but at some point it certainly will. The steam turbine does allow me to take some steam and turn that directly into power. Very good when paired up with a volcano of some sort. Solar panels, if we decided to dig all the way to the surface of the planetoid that we are on, would generate a fair bit more power as long as it doesn't get hit by meteors. And a sauna? I don't really care too much about a sauna or even a steam engine, at least not right now. But these two could be kind of nice for me. So I guess we should go ahead and just start researching like a lot of this more advanced stuff. We've got the power. We've got the rad bolts. Let's do it. I guess since I have some plastic I'm not using, one thing I could go ahead and do is start placing some plastic ladders. It's a little bit dumb, but it does increase the climbing speed by a whopping 20%. So I mean, yeah. At least in the main areas of the base, it probably makes sense to go ahead and place some of these and finally make use of this plastic. Now, I can envision at some point we're going to start needing to make use of steel. That is a very important resource because it is extremely durable at high temperature. For that to work, we're going to need to make some refined carbon in the base. I don't love doing this at the kiln, but we're going to go ahead and do this a few times. It's going to generate more heat than I would like, but oh well. This takes some of my coal, of which I at least have 41 tons of, so at least we got some to spare, and we could use that, plus some refined iron, so like already refined, not the iron ore, but actual refined iron, and then some lime, and that creates the steel that we're looking for. Overheat temperature plus 200 degrees Celsius. That is pretty darn good and absolutely necessary if you want to start using aqua tuners. Something else I'd love to do at some point is actually create a sleet wheat farm. Because sleet wheat can actually turn into a lot of gourmet versions of food, which can make your morale go way, way, way up. Of course, in order to make use of that, for the most part, you're probably going to need to make use of the gourmet meal preparation, a gas range, which takes natural gas and lets us make higher quality food. The problem with the sleet wheat, primarily, is that it usually needs a very, very cold biome, which we can do, it just takes a bit of finagling. And then if you use the hydroponic farms, you need to be putting in a lot of water into any of those farming tiles. It's not a very water-efficient way to get some food. So what's even better, honestly, is if you can get some pips, which is a special little creature that we could harvest up. Well, I say harvest, we could raise, there we go. Place them in the right biome, and what they love to do is take seeds and bury them in the ground. So you can set up a nice little area, a nice little farming area with some tiles that are open, just like empty, I don't know, metal or dirt tiles, something like that. Place the seeds in the area, and the pips will go and just bury them, and then you make the chamber extremely cold. And that way, they don't need water. They grow a little bit slower, but they're water-free. That's the way to go, honestly, when it comes to all this sleet wheat. It's just going to take a lot of finagling, and I don't have any pips at the moment, so we can't even do anything about it yet anyway. I'm kind of curious what's going to be at this neutronium little setup right here. There's something in this area. Might honestly be a volcano. If we could please just dig through this real quick, we could find out what the heck is over here. Maybe something we want to build around in this particular episode. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes it's amazing and sometimes it's not. Finish some research. Oh, that's good. Okay, so we got ourselves the renewable energy. Plastic manufacturing, an oil well. You know, if I find the oil biome, I know I'm gonna need that. Right now, we don't. Food repurposing, no, no, no. Anything else jump out as really important? Meh, we'll just go ahead and get the gourmet meal preparation. I don't know, someday we'll wish we had that. So what do we have here? A gold volcano? Well, hello. Okay, we have a volcano capable of producing molten gold. Wow. All right, that's awesome. I have no idea really what to do with this sucker, but we have a potential renewable source, or infinite, you know, over time, source of gold now, which is honestly great, because I could really use lots and lots of gold. But I sort of feel like this is something we're not going to be able to take advantage of, at least for a while. So we've been digging really far up, and it looks to me like we might have found the vacuum of space. All right. So that's what we're looking at here. There's a whole load of regolith. What the frick was that thing? Whoa, okay, that's a little bit terrifying. It is a shove vole. I have absolutely no idea what this thing is exactly. It eats regolith and reduces the amount of regolith you have. Well, that's terrible. It just consumes stuff you want. So they seem terrible. They don't produce anything you want to have. Okay, no, we need to kill these suckers. I don't see any particular reason to keep these voles. It sounds like if you want to get rid of regolith, that's one thing, but otherwise, these things just eat your materials. Cool, we'll kill them on sight. Anyway, so that's the vacuum of space. So we can't really go any further up than that, at least for now, but I can start digging out a bit more to the sides, and then down all the way over here, we're finding a salt biome, and then I just found crude oil. All right, so we are this close to finding a proper oil biome. There's a lot of stuff you can do with oil. Oil is pretty good for making petroleum as a power source, as well as making some plastic if you want, obviously. Another option, of course, is to take some crude oil and actually use it almost like a coolant source because it is able to retain a whole lot of energy. In fact, you take oil and toss that sucker through an aqua tuner. It's, I think, better than polluted water as far as the amount of energy lost. Could be wrong on that. Maybe it doesn't retain as much energy and it just takes a longer time to heat up or something. No, that makes sense still with specific heat capacity being what it is. Oh, good lord, we can answer this question. What is the properties here of crude oil? Specific heat capacity, 1.69. Thermal conductivity is 2. Okay, contrast that with some simple water. And actually, oh, water has a much higher specific heat capacity. Okay. Well, I stand corrected. Regardless, there are things we can do with oil. So I'm totally planning on opening this area up and seeing if we can find an oil well that I can start extracting to get myself basically an unlimited source of this stuff. Something I would really love to find on this planet, but I'm not sure if it's on the classic planetoid or not, is a slickster. That is a special creature that consumes carbon dioxide and releases crude oil. So this is a more renewable ranching way of getting a consistent source of crude oil, if you can find these guys and properly take care of them. I mean, Lord knows, I wouldn't mind getting rid of some of the carbon dioxide I got in the base. Plenty of that stuff to go around. Oy vey, we'll take a look at that a little bit later. So with the oil, what we can do is toss this into an oil refinery, and the oil refinery will take some of that crude oil, 6 tons per cycle, and turn that into 3,000 kilograms of petroleum. Petroleum would be a little bit more efficient from like a heat and energy perspective than our natural gas generators. So if we're producing a lot of this stuff, we might be able to make a new power plant. It also will release a little bit of natural gas as a byproduct, which we can toss into these gas generators, or perhaps even one of those gas stoves I was talking about. Oh, hello. Okay, we could get ourselves another dupe right now. An agriculturally based dupe, very, very good skill here, plus a quick learner, which is kind of okay, but not a very big deal. I'm not loving the lack of excavation. I don't care about medicine, that's not a big deal. I mean, yeah, with 12 agriculture, we can definitely put you to work, especially if I do ever need to open up another farm. So I think we are going to accept another duplicant for ourselves right about now. What name am I going to give you? Great question. Solbasaur? I don't think we've got you in the base yet. All right, let's go ahead and print off Solbasaur. Welcome aboard. Of course, I'm going to give you some proper skills. And you are going to be getting a farming skill primarily, which is going to increase your morale expectations, but that's not a huge deal. We got a lot more skills to hand out, by the way, but I can only do so much because at some point, for example, with Beisel, you can see we're already right at our cap with our morale. Any more skills here, and he's going to start getting really stressed out. So until we can get some better food or something else that's going to boost up morale significantly, we can't really take advantage of a lot of these skill points. Aha, okay, down over here we do have an oil reservoir. Oh, what a slickster! Hi, slickster! Okay, cool, we found that. Also, what's a jumping joya? It is a cactus of some sort. Okay, it's just a decorative plant, not a big deal down there. A couple of slicksters! Even better, okay, so I love these little guys. I'm not sure exactly how you are supposed to ranch them, but if we can find a way to do so, I would happily make that happen. 3 slicksters! Oh man, these guys are like breeding already right in front of me. So what I was gonna say is we found an oil reservoir, and I am already starting to research the plastic manufacturing tech over here. This unlocks an oil well, which we would be able to use some clean water to then pump into the reservoir and force crude oil to come out. So it's basically a lot like a gas geyser. It's just gonna be a source of oil on top of what's already here. I need to pump this entire area out and take advantage of this. Ooh, also diamonds. See, this stuff's actually pretty darn nice. You can make use of a lot of diamonds. It's really, really good, shockingly, for temperature transfer. You can build windows out of diamonds, and it actually will transfer some heat between biomes better than most metal tiles. Weird, right? By the way, for those who might joke how stupid it is that I'm just tossing a massive ice cube in this room, it's freaking working, dude. This whole area is chilling out pretty nicely. Honestly, I can kind of ignore this for a good long while, and I think we've got our heat problems managed. So, yeah, thermoregulators, you guys suck. You just absorbed all of my gas and destroyed it. Ice, you worked great. I love ice. Ice is good. Oh, we found a locker over here, and we rummaged through it and found a snazzy suit. Cool, I've gotten a couple of those already through some of my printing pods, but we could just give someone a snazzy suit and they basically walk around and just increase the decor around them, which is kind of fun. Well, how about we give it to Ruby, I guess. Ruby probably sticks around the main base a bit more than most people as a dedicated rancher, thereby increasing the decor of places where people are more likely to walk through. I don't know. I don't think it really matters all that much. Hey, look, the natural gas geyser's up and running again. Awesome. So we'll be able to start getting a whole load more natural gas. Whoa, wow, okay, hello. So I dug a little bit further down and opened up this well, and I guess it was like super pressured or something because, boom, there goes all the freaking crude oil. Dang, I think we found ourselves a proper well. Okay, so this is many, many dozens of kilograms of crude oil just sitting around, huh? But do we want to go ahead and start processing it? I think the answer has to be yes. One way we could do that is to just kind of set up a petroleum refining station over here in this ice biome, where we'll be able to cool things off pretty easily. I guess, yeah, an oil refinery here and a polymer press in this area could kind of work. All right, let's dig it out and start setting this up. I should probably note that the system I'm going to set up down over here is very, very temporary. I don't expect this is going to be my long-term placement for my oil refinery, but I do know that I need to produce a heck of a lot more plastic before I can even take advantage of the transit tubes I say that I want, because turns out we used a surprising amount of it up simply by getting all of these plastic ladders in place. I've only got 500 kilograms remaining. That is not a lot. And unfortunately, my glossy Drecos are constantly glum. They are not in the mood to lay more eggs for some reason. So, yeah, we're not getting very far on all of this right now. We're not getting a lot more plastic production. That's where this comes in. Temporary oil refinement. Turning that into petroleum, producing plastic at a polymer press. Generates a lot of heat, but it's manageable so long as it's within this ice biome. And at some point, we dismantle all of this and create something a lot more permanent. Did we find another gold volcano over here? Oh my gosh, we did. Okay. Cool. You know, I would have preferred, like, anything else. You know, copper would have been nice, some sort of variety, but 2 gold volcanoes, huh? I better do some reading and figure out how best to make a good use out of those things, because I really have absolutely no idea what we want to do with those things. I imagine it's going to take a lot of effort to cool that stuff down. You know, that to me just would make sense. But that means I need to have a lot of cooling power. And the only thing that really makes sense on that front to me would be to actually set up some steam turbines. Now, while we just kind of wait on some of this, I'll explain why that's actually pretty good. So steam turbines are weird in that you have to have very hot water, let's say around like 135 degrees Celsius or higher, for some consistent high energy steam, right? That flows up into the steam turbine, and then this automatically reduces that temperature down to 95. It doesn't matter how hot that steam was going in. It could have been 400 degrees for all I care. That's actually a bit excessive, but you get the idea, and it brings it back down to 95. Steam turbines are a way of actually deleting heat from the game, kind of like the anti-entropy thermonullifier. So, if we can set these up aggressively, not necessarily for power generation, but actually just to delete heat from the game, that is one way that we would be able to, I don't know, set up a sleet wheat farm, or get a heck of a lot more cooling in this area, or maybe even, eventually, cool down a golden volcano. Maybe. Again, I need to do some reading on that, because in my head, that sounds stupid. But you know what? It's just taking advantage of video game physics, so maybe it makes perfect sense. What about down over here? Is it another gold volcano or something more useful? Oh gosh dang it, I have no idea. Get back over here, Shadow. I need you to mine this out, please. No, it is actually another natural gas geyser. Okay. Well, good. So a second source of natural gas, interestingly enough, not far away from the rest of my natural gas. Kind of works for me. Sure, yeah, okay. We'll eventually want to take advantage of that. But not for at least a little bit, I think. Okay, we are generating some power down in this direction. So, next thing to do, I guess, will be to set up one of those liquid pumps. We could actually set up a mini liquid pump, which probably is actually too small for what we need. Let's go for the larger one. I want to make this thing out of gold amalgam because it is a little on the warm side down over here. So let's not deal with that, and I guess we can use some insulated pipes. Might not be necessary, but let's go for it. And then we're just gonna simply run this stuff down all the way over to our oil refinery. Some of our dupes are starting to get really hurt, either through things like slime lung or just getting heat stroke from hanging out in a bath of literal hot oil. Maybe now would actually be a good time to consider placing down like some basic medicine or something, you know? Maybe just like a little triage cot or something. If you get injured, you just come over here and just sit around for a bit. Not the worst idea I've ever had. Okay, we've got ourselves a little liquid pump. Now, somebody is gonna have to do some running on the hamster wheel. Not a great spot for it, since there's a lot of carbon dioxide, even a little bit of chlorine and such, so it's not going to be the best thing long term. I just kind of want to get some of this started and see how well this works. In the meantime, we could go ahead and just wire this stupid thing up all the way over here, blah, blah, blah. I'm a little bit worried about drawing too much power, certainly more than my poor coal generator would be able to run, but that's fine. It's probably still better to do this than to worry about a manual generator. I just want to kind of kickstart the system, you know? Get this thing going. There we go. All right, so now we are pumping some oil. All right, we've already pumped a couple 100 kilograms of the stuff, and off it goes. Now it's going to go into the inputs for my oil refinery, and then it should automatically work. I don't think anyone else has to man the station for a bit, which is good. So you can see this thing is actually filling up. And then it's going to go ahead and start running, which will probably take a little bit of time, or, let's see, auto inputs, blah, blah, blah. Actually, maybe it does need somebody running this thing over here. You can see that it does have a load of crude oil in here, which is actually cooling off rather rapidly. Viola, you're my operator, right? Hop over here and, yes, okay, so someone does need to spend some time over here, but they are creating some petroleum. Now, here's the downside. We're taking 10 kilograms of crude oil and making only 5 kilograms of petroleum per tick, right? So we're losing like half of the oil. It's kind of like when we had a rock smasher to get our refined material. There are better ways to refine this stuff into petroleum, namely to boil it. Get this stuff up to something unbelievably hot, like 400 degrees Celsius, boil the oil, and turn it into petroleum that way at a 1-to-1 ratio, which is objectively better. We're probably going to do something like that at some point, but for right now, I just want to get the petroleum to get this polymer press up and a-running. And we can see that we are producing 500 grams of plastic per second, so it's coming out in stacks of about, it looks like 30 kilograms. It does take a little bit of time, but it's otherwise a mostly automated system, which is great. It's pretty hot, so it's melting the ice, and then immediately it gets re-solidified. We are outputting some carbon dioxide at a fairly hot temperature, I think. Let's see. Well, I'll take that back. No, it's coming out pretty darn cold, so we're actually not even generating all that much heat. And we are generating a small amount of natural gas, which is just going to do its thing over here. I'm not going to worry about that. So at least for the moment, we actually can get rid of this now again, I believe. At least for the moment, we're able to start producing a lot more plastic. So that's great. So, maybe not this video, but as of next video, I'm hoping we're going to have enough plastic that I could set up a transit tube. So it would be a lot faster to get down over here. I will also want to set up some Atmos suits and stuff. That'll all be important. And I'm even setting up another checkpoint over here because next video, I very much would like to capture this cool steam vent and start making use of the steam turbines to start pumping out a lot of heat, or maybe at least produce a little power. Something, I don't know. We'll think about that, but I know it starts with this at the very least. And actually over here, let's make sure that we do set up a very small water lock. Plus, we need to deliver a suit or two over here. Perfect. Okay. So, not as much progress in this video as I probably would have liked. Another farmer? Man, if only I had any use for that. Not as much progress in this video as I would have liked, unfortunately, but we did explore a lot more of the map. We found where we're going in space. I found some more volcanoes and or geysers for natural gas, for gold, and we did discover the oil biome, and we've got this going in a very rudimentary way. So some plastic is being produced in addition to the extra couple thousand or so kilograms that I found with my glossy Drecos. Now we do have an egg over here somewhere, I thought. Did I take the egg out? Hold on, is this why my eggs haven't been showing up as of late? I've been taking out the eggs. Oh my god, I can't believe it. There's 4 more eggs just sitting there. Gosh! Damn it! Okay. Well, yeah, no. Let's go ahead and start working on these glossy directlet eggs, and we'll just continue doing this for a little bit, all right? We'll just continue doing some of these so we can have more passive plastic production in addition to all of this, and eventually I need to set up a proper boiler. Thank you all very much for watching what will probably end up being a bit of a short video. I apologize for that. If you did enjoy this video, I would ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.